Building networks is a lot about building community, and that's what you guys, Chris, are doing. Why don't you tell us about some of the challenges and opportunities that you've found working with community groups to build broadband?
Absolutely. So as a 114-year-old company, we've always been focused on showing the communities that we serve that we care about them. And through engagement with donations to the local food banks or trash pickup on local roads, our employees have always been active in being visible with those communities. But as we've grown and as broadband has become more of the more important in the conversation with serving communities, we've really sought to engage at a higher level, a more comprehensive level with our communities. So one of the challenges we found is there isn't just one cookie cutter approach. You can't say here's the plan and we apply it to all these communities. Our communities are as different as as they could be in the areas that we serve. The only similarity they share is they're all rural. They're all rural communities. They're all struggling with what I call a revitalization aspect. How are they going to prepare for the next stage of their growth? In some cases, many of them have lost jobs. Their educational system, they've identified the problems and they want to see improvements and changes with their educational system. We bring one piece of the puzzle to the table, and that is broadband, which is incredibly important infrastructure. And for us to realize the investment that we're putting in, we again need to apply that same principle that we've always had for over 100 years, that these communities need to prosper, and we are willing to bet on the long term, to invest in the long term so that they will. So we got involved with some groups that really started our learning process, and that's what this has been, an evolution or a learning process. Economic development groups, I'll call them. Things like the Shenandoah Valley Partnership, which is about 2 hours south of D.C. here, and became leaders. So we seek to be leaders in this collaborative conversation where we can develop a plan where we know we're bringing broadband, but we also have some other resources in our employees and some learnings that we can bring from other communities. And I think that's the other important thing, so people aren't recreating the wheel. And so we've moved initially into economic development, and then push those groups to say, let's focus on education, improvements that can happen there, workforce development.
I wanted to ask you a specific question about the whole idea of education, and one of the things you did to help bring teachers back to the area.
Another group that we got involved with in West Virginia, we were looking at rebuilding our plant there in McDowell County, which at the time was the second poorest community or county in this country. Very, very poor. It's a coal-dominated community, and you know how hard coal has been hit. And so we were going to spend approximately $10 million to build out broadband to over 10,000 homes. There are only 11,000 in that whole county. And so we sat down, having our involvement with learnings from the Shenandoah Valley Partnership and some of these other groups. We sat down with this group called Reconnecting McDowell. It's actually led by a senator's wife. Her name is Gail Manchin. And again, they started with this comprehensive approach that there's the infrastructure that's there. We know jobs are central for everything, but now how do we start building towards bringing companies in? And so we get into the education, they got into healthcare. And so we were, again, part of that leadership group, and we were very grateful, to be involved in this leadership group. You had a lot of smart people coming there locally and also out of DC here. So they started with things like actually building homes for teachers. So, you could get the teachers there, giving the teachers scholarships to come teach in these communities. We did job fairs. We did, some, for the schools, we worked with a group, and laptops were donated. We rolled out a special pricing package if you are actively enrolled in the schools. And so you can start to see how a variety of groups were attacking this problem from all angles, and that's what it really takes. And that's the other part. You have to have this long-term focus. There are a myriad of issues that you've got to tackle, but none of them get fixed all at once. And then have some type of semi-annual. That's what we do. Kind of board update. How are we doing? Revising the plan. Things like that. So that's just a glimpse, and I would encourage anybody that has interest in this to go look at Reconnecting McDowell. It's an association that's down in that area, and they're continuing to do good work.
Excellent. Well, that's a great primer for the rest of the country, so I appreciate your insight.
Thank you for your time.